So here's a quick overview of what my actual tool bag looks like. Now these are some quick photos just revealing some of the more detail of how my tool bag's actually organized. So here's the tools on the one side, and the first tool is a mirror, and when this allows me to see things that might be obscured. And then here are my insulated screwdrivers, which are just awesome for protection. And going into my folding utility knife, just awesome because it's always sharp because it's disposable blades. And then here is my Klein level, and I love this tool because the magnets on the bottom, they adhere really nicely to metallic surfaces, so they make panel installation really easy. And going into my tin snips, and of course I got all three types, and just really nice, make butter out of any type of sheet metal. And here are my standard wrenches. They're actually the ratcheting ones, so they're really nice to have. And here are my metric. And the way I keep them organized is on a carabiner, and I think this is pretty clever because it gives me a visual difference so I can quickly spot out which one's which. And then this transitions into my scissors. Just nice to have a dedicated pair for your toolbox. And then just the array of standard screwdrivers, obviously different lengths and different profiles. And then right here is my Klein non-voltage detector, which is awesome. It can save your life. Very essential tool. And here is one of my pairs of needle nose. They're my staple tool, and I heavily rely on them. And then right here I have my standard metric, my standard nut driver, and I have also the metric, which I heavily rely on because most of the tools that we use in my company that I work for are metric. Now here's the secondary side of my tool bag, and right here I have my Phillips insulated screwdriver set. And this transitions into my standard Allen key set. And then here are my Robinson or square type screwdriver set. That's the one thing, you can never have enough screwdrivers. And here are my plumb pliers. Now I'm not a huge fan of these tools because I find they strip the heads of bolts really easily, but every once in a while they're useful just when you're in a jam. And here's my multimeter, which is a fairly decent type, and I'll include the link to my review on that style. And here are tweezers, just good for detail grabbing things or setting things into place. And this goes into my adjustable wrenches. Now I'm not a huge fan of these, they destroy bolts, but every once in a while when you're in a jam they're just a nice tool to have. And here's just a quick DeWalt bit set just for my screwdrivers, my drills. And here's my slim needle nose pliers, nice little profile on them, really awesome for detail work. And just another pair of needle nose as well. Like I said, I heavily rely on these tools. And here are my side cutters, which just basically turn any wire into butter. And this goes into the staple of any electrician's tools, the lineman's pliers. Just nice for putting twists or cutting things. They're just a really heavy, solid tool, nice to rely on. And here are my metric Allen keys. And both my sets are cobalt. Not a huge fan of them, but I'm looking to replace them soon. And here are my Phillips, just regular set of Klein screwdrivers. And this transitions into my Robinson insulated screwdrivers. And then here's my array of wire strippers, all Klein. Huge fan of them, especially this one. Really awesome for when you're doing housework wiring, just because they have the pre-sized ones for that styling of wire. And this is my heavier gauge, and then my thinner gauge for the detail electronics of control. And from here, I'm going to be transitioning into my precision tools. These are my precision insulated standard. They're really nice. Just gives you that source of protection, well, sense I should say. And then here are my Phillips. Just once again, nice to have that sense of protection when you're working on detailed circuits. And right here, I just have a paint scraper. Not a bad tool to have around for just clearing up a surface or just getting rid of gaskets. Now here's everything I just keep in the signs. The first thing I'm going to show you is my lockout tags. They're just nice to have, and they're laminated so I can just write in permanent marker and then wipe them off later with some rubbing alcohol. Here's a micrometer for some precision measurements. These are the probes for my multimeter. And then here are, my high voltage panel access key. And then this goes into my safety glasses, which I like to keep on the outside. And my multi-bit screwdriver. This is just a nice tool to have on the outside just in case you just want to grab one quick tool to do everything. And here's my lockout lock. And from there I go into my flush cut for zip ties and all that fun stuff. And then permanent marker for writing on my lockout tags, some more precision screwdrivers, some gloves to keep my hands warm when I'm working outside. They have a little bit of grip onto them, so it's really nice. And just a measuring tape, one of the more essential tools. And in from that, I have my DeWalt impact set. I keep them on the side pouch just because they don't store nicely in the actual tool bag itself.